My American friends, I'm an Arab Canadian conservative patriot. I share this message to ask you to vote for President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House for a second term. In the end, it's not about left or right, it's not about black or white, it's simply about good and evil. You will have to choose your side in the war between the forces of good and the forces of evil. A conservative is one who conserves the natural values that God has bestowed upon humanity. A conservative would never support the destructive values being championed by the Democrat, Liberal, and NDP parties that have brainwashed at least half the public. Donald Trump is simply the greatest US president since JFK, or Abe Lincoln, or even the founding fathers of the USA. Depending on what he will achieve in his second term, he may very well rank right up there with Andrew Jackson or Thomas Jefferson. Sleepy Joe Biden is part of the deep state establishment, and during his tenure as vice president, he supported Obama's invasion and slaughter of Syria and massacre and annihilation of Libya. The Obama-Biden or O'Biden administration ushered in global chaos, sowed the seeds of greater racial division, supported destructive social policies, locked children in cages, and actually spied on Donald Trump both before and after he became president-elect. How could any decent person support this? It pains me as a member of a visible minority to see so many Arabs jumping on the bandwagon of leftist politicians and policies when we are supposed to be conservative people. Our religions are conservative religions with conservative values. Yet so many of us support politicians who are the furthest thing away from conservative principles. How does that make any sense? How could any Arab support men who destroy Arab nations? And how could we support men like Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden against an anti-war candidate such as Donald Trump? Isn't being anti-war alone a good thing? It was only a short while ago so many were hoping for an anti-war and pro-peace president. So whatever happened to that? Biden is part of the system of control that seeks to dominate your lives, and the effort to put him back in the White House is for the purpose of covering up Obama-era crimes and maintaining the enslavement of the people. What has Biden accomplished during his 47 years in office? Trump has done more in 47 months than Biden has done in 47 years. What does it mean to you when the Clinton, Bush, Obama, warmongering deep state mafia, the leftist mob, the Federal Reserve, the traitorous elements inside the intelligence agencies, the mainstream Marxist media and newspapers, and the Hollywood cultural elite are all aligned against Trump? It simply means that Trump is doing something right, and it's time we acknowledge that. We finally have a Western leader who keeps his promises. He has fought with the Pentagon elite to bring U.S. troops back home and has kept the U.S. out of further horrendous and destructive wars the world over. As an Arab conservative, I cherish the fact that Trump is working as hard as he can against the war elite that have devastated the Middle East. He encourages countries to resolve their differences and come to peace. He has rejected the international globalist Marxist agenda in favor of a nationalist agenda consisting of putting his own country first, America first. Maybe we can all learn from that and put our own countries first. Trump has encouraged all other nations of the world to take a similar approach. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he has stood up to the abortion industry and big pharma. He supports the nuclear family unit and religious liberty. Regardless of what locker room banter he engaged in the past, which almost every man in the history of this planet has engaged in, he is working in the present to defend the First and Second Amendment. I'm not even American, and yet I'm proud to have a man like Donald Trump working against the war elite. Whatever happens in the United States will eventually trickle over into Canada, just like the USMCA. I once supported the great Ron Paul in 2008 and 2012. And the voter fraud and media manipulation he was subjected to was disgusting. Ron Paul was a sweet old man, and the corrupt establishment prevented him from being elected. It became clear to me that a nice guy like Ron Paul wasn't going to get past the criminals by being nice. You needed someone to come in like a train and ram the establishment straight to hell. Trump was that man. He gained the support of American patriots and powered his way to the White House. He didn't get there by being a nice guy. He fought tooth and nail to represent the patriotic masses of the people who still believe that God should be the focal point of our lives. If the media were honest and worked with Donald Trump in a constructive way, he would have been the most popular president in history and supported by the vast majority of the people who now oppose him. But most of the left have been conditioned to hate Trump. I'm encouraging you all to think for yourself. Do your own research, analyze all sources, and make your own decision. Do not be afraid or bullied. Speak up and be heard. It's time to do the right thing and send Donald Trump back to the White House with an overwhelming congressional Republican majority so he can make America great again.